My name is Brooke Hubbs, and this is the Brolog. The reviews you're about to see here are done by trained professionals and should not be duplicated by anyone, anywhere, at any time. What's up everyone, welcome back to the Brolog. Today we're going to talk to you about Man on a Ledge and The Grey. And for those of you who've been sticking with me, thank you very much. Sorry the last episode was a little bit longer than I had hoped it would be, but hopefully we're going to cut down on that this time. Less shenanigans, no fooling around, we want to keep this nice and short and simple, so no more tomfoolery. Okay, anyways, let's talk about Man on a Ledge. Man on a Ledge stars Sam Worthington, Elizabeth Banks, Jamie Bell, and a number of other talented actors and actresses. It's a story about a man who's wrongfully accused of stealing a diamond from a very wealthy man who's played by Ed Harris. This man, Sam Worthington, breaks out of jail and he does this big stunt where he makes people think he's going to jump off of a building to his death, so he gets all the cops and the press there. But it's really a big distraction for something else that's going on. That much is in the trailer, so don't accuse me of spoiling that for you, but I'm not going to tell you anything else because you find out a lot of things as you go. The movie was better than I thought it was going to be. Overall, though, it's just kind of average. I mean, it's got some fun moments with the actors just kind of playing back and forth. The characters that you're following, aside from Sam Worthington, who's standing on the ledge, are kind of like these amateurs in a Mission Impossible kind of situation. So it's fun seeing them kind of squirm around and try to get these things done without really knowing how to do them. On Sam Worthington's end, that part of the story kind of reminds me of the movie Phone Booth. Just kind of the setup, all these people watching this guy who's on a ledge and you don't really know what's going on. You get some good moments from Ed Harris, who's the movie's villain, and a couple other villains along the way, but I'm not going to tell you who they are because it'll give away the twists and turns. You get some good moments from the supporting cast. You got Titus Welliver, who is the Black Smoke Man from Lost. You got Jamie Bell. You've got Anthony Mackie from The Hurt Locker. He's pretty good in this one. And you've got newcomer Genesis Rodriguez, who's really funny, and she's pretty hot too, so that doesn't hurt. There's nothing really remarkable about the film. The plot and the twists and turns are fairly conventional for Hollywood films, but if you enjoy these actors, you'll probably like the movie enough to go see it in theaters. I'm going to give it a 3 out of 5, and I think that's fair. Now, watch me disappear. And I'm back. Let's talk about The Grey. The Grey is a new movie from director Joe Carnahan. Now, Joe Carnahan brought us movies like Smokin' Aces and the A-Team remake. Now, The Grey is about these guys who work at an Alaskan oil refinery, and they're ready to take their plane home on leave. In the middle of the plane flight, what am I doing here? The plane flight, the plane crashes in the wilderness, and they've got to survive the extreme cold and the elevation, and a pack of wolves that are hunting them. Crazy stuff. The film stars Liam Neeson, which by its own right is awesome. And Liam Neeson's been known for his kick-ass movies the last couple of years. And this one, they're advertising him as fighting wolves with a knife in one hand and a bunch of broken mini bottles in the other hand. And if that's what you're going to see this movie for, it's not quite like that, but it does have a bunch of badass moments. Liam Neeson definitely gives one of the best performances of his career in this movie. The only thing that I had a problem with was his accent kind of fluctuates in the movie between Irish and not Irish. But other than that, he's spot on, has a really deep backstory to his character that you slowly learn more and more about over time. And he's just this amazing character that knows a lot about the wilderness and to survive, and he leads this team of guys that don't know what the hell they're doing, and he barely knows what he's doing, but he doesn't even flinch, bat an eye. He's just fantastic in this movie. The rest of the cast is really good too. Now, their characters don't get as much emphasis as Neeson's, obviously, but you got some great actors like Dermot Mulroney and Dallas Roberts, Joe Anderson from Across the Universe, Frank Grillo from Warrior, and altogether these guys come to make this ensemble of characters that clash, button heads, but have to band together to survive this wilderness. Do they survive? You'll have to find out. The use of the wolves in this film is really effective, and they're really terrifying creatures. Whenever you see them, they're in the snow, like heavy snowfall, or they're in the middle of the night so you can barely see them, and they're just these big looming things and growling and making these terrifying noises. But the movie also makes really good use of the Jaws effect. What's the Jaws effect? Well, it's when you don't really see the monsters that much, and it's more of what's in your imagination than what you're actually seeing on the screen. You got times where the wolves are like off in the distance and maybe you see their breath or you just hear them howling, and it's the most terrifying when that's happening. The other really good Jaws moment of this film was not necessarily a creature, but it was the plane crash, because instead of like a Final Destination kind of thing where you see all the blood and gore and people getting ripped apart, you're just seeing Liam Neeson's perspective essentially as he buckles down to like 3 seatbelts, and you're just hearing this terrifying plane crash whirling around you, and it's really, really effective. One thing that I can see people being a little bit peeved about is the ending of The Grey, and I'm not going to give it away, but the more you think about it, the more you'll realize it's a pretty fitting ending to this movie. The other thing that might irritate people about this movie is it's not really what the trailers made it out to be. The trailers kind of made it seem like this movie was going to be all about action-packed fighting wolves like with your fists, and it's not really like that. It's much more of an emotional and deep journey, and the wolves are more of a metaphor for what these guys are going through in their life and the fact that they have to survive in this extreme situation that they're in. So, I mean, there's plenty of action, plenty of survival, plenty of brutality as well, but it's not quite as action-packed as you might think going into it, but it's still really good. It's such an amazing movie. I was blown away. I'm still blown away by it days after I've seen it, and I definitely recommend it to everyone, unless you got a problem with cursing or violence or wolves. Anyways, I'm going to go ahead and give this movie 4.5 out of 5 beards. I was that impressed by it. Well, thanks everyone for checking out this week's Brolog. I hope you liked it. I know you're all busy, what with your Facebook-in and Twitter-in and Google Plus-in, but I tried to keep it shorter than last week's episode at least. Next week, we got some good movies coming out. Chronicle, that's one I'm really looking forward to. In fact, Chronicle is about a bunch of teenagers that inherit superpowers. Also coming out is Big Miracle with John Krasinski and Drew Barrymore, about saving a bunch of whales in the Arctic. And the other one coming out is Woman in Black with Daniel Radcliffe. Yeah, it looks pretty scary. So anyways, I want to say thank you for watching this week's Brolog, and we'll see y'all next week. Have a good one.
Brolog. You've been prologued.
I was in Jaws!
You're blow log. You do whatever you want. So it's Man on a Ledge. He's a man on a ledge. I thought Kevin Costner was in this movie. Where are the dinosaurs? I don't get it.